Here we are at chapter 3. So, this is the third installment. If you've missed the other two, hello, hi, watch those. So here's some updates. Number 1, I've realized that I think my publication date might be a little too not gonna happen. The reason I don't think I'm gonna get this published by January 31st is simply that I don't know I have enough time to write this book. Because writing fiction takes so much out of me, and I just get really, like, I can only write 1 chapter a day. And I also have a lot of other stuff that I do every day because I do run multiple channels. And so I am spending more time doing that because I post every single day on 1 channel, and so that requires a lot, and I read 3 books a week for that one. And then I'm also reading books for this one. But then also I decided to work on another book at the same time, and I want both of these to have a completed first draft by the end of the year. Now, my fiction book isn't going to take as long to get through because, again, it's just a fiction book, but the other one I also want to have done. So instead of spending all the extra time getting multiple chapters of this book written a day, I'm taking that time to get chapters of that book written so that I can end the year with 2 first drafts. So next year I have multiple books to be published. So the other book I'll mostly be talking about on my other channel because it belongs over there, but it is a witchcraft book. It is not a fiction witchcraft as in like Charmed, it's witchcraft as in the religion, as in all of these books over here. So that book is tentatively called Project Death. I know, go figure. It's my witchcraft book on processing death and using witchcraft as methods to help in all aspects of that, whether it's the preparation, funerals, viewings, blessing the grave, you know, working with the ancestors and stuff like that. And so it's a very big book. That one I have planned 55 chapters. So it's a big project, but I want to get it done, and I'm honestly more excited to work on that than my fiction book. And so I was like, if I'm going to be spending so much time on a book, I want to spend enough time to get that one done kind of quickly because I really want it out there. And so this one, I'm not abandoning it, I'm just pumping the brakes a little bit. So my publication date might bump out a little bit because I'm not planning on getting this done until the end of December. And I do think editing is going to take a couple months at least, but when both books are in the editing phase, I can start writing in another book. So it's just gonna be like this constant revolving door of I'm either editing or I'm writing. And if I'm not editing, like if it's not me personally like doing like my, you know, couple rounds of edits where I'm working on like word count and just flow of things, then it's off to someone else. At that point, I will start working on another book. But for now, both of them are going to be kind of hitting the same mile markers. But I want that book done, and I also want to get this book done. So it's just a little delayed. So with that said, chapter 3, I kind of worked my way out of the hole I had created for myself. Sort of. I couldn't actually find the answer I was looking for. I mentioned this last time. But the idea of a ghost getting trapped in a house and every time you walk out a door you enter in a different place, I could not find that when I googled it. That's just like not a thing. So I eventually gave up on trying to find it and was like, okay, I can't use this as a reason to just not write until I eventually get sick of this idea and start it all over again. And so I was like, nope, we're just gonna write our way out of this corner. So I did. I just kind of rolled with it on a lot of caffeine and called it a day. So I figured out my way out of it. Again, I really like this idea of each chapter having a central point. So this one, I don't think it's going to give much away, but it's called Leaves. And so that's what it's about, kind of. But yeah, so I managed to get myself out of that corner of like, I don't know how to fix this. How are you supposed to fix this? Like, how are you traditionally supposed to fix this? I don't know. But I figured it out. So I'm excited to see where it ends up going, because again, I don't really have an outline, so I'm just kind of like pantsing it, just like wherever the characters take me is where we go. And so it's really fun to get to write like that, and I'm hoping that I can maintain this as we go, because again, I have a vague outline of where I want things to happen, but the getting there isn't necessarily that important for me. So we're just saying. And again, it's only 3 chapters, so I still have like 24 to go where I can figure out other things that I want to have happening. So with that said, this was actually my best writing day that I've had yet. So this one I got, and you've probably seen it at the beginning of this, but I got like almost 200 words more than my previous chapters. So that's really exciting because it's usually that I underwrite, but today I did more. So anyways, that is pretty much it for chapter 3. I'm excited to see how this goes. And I think with the new schedule, it's going to work really well because I've kind of gotten sick of working every single day of the week. So I now just have a checklist of stuff that I have to do each day. And if I don't complete those, then I do have to do it on the weekends. But this way I might be able to like start to have a little bit of a break or at least less work every single day, because that will inevitably cause burnout. So now doing 4 chapters a week, a chapter a day, I think it's going to work really well. But for you, you probably won't notice too much of a gap because again, I'm scheduling way in advance. So like, it's still November. And so by the time you're seeing this in January, I should be done with this draft and I'll be working on other things. So we'll see. But yeah, thankfully this gives me a buffer of time a little bit, but it is definitely, I think, gonna go a little bit easier with only the pressure of 1 chapter for that book 4 days a week. And then the other one, I'm also only writing on the 4 days. And then the weekends is either for reading, which again, I have a lot to do on the weekends of reading at least, but also just as a break. And so the 4 days, 3 chapters for the 2 books, I feel like isn't too bad. The Witchy book, it goes really fast, honestly, to get the chapters done. It's second nature to me. And so it's a lot easier of writing instead of trying to come up with characters and describing situations and emotions. And, you know, you always have the inner editor just existing constantly. Whereas with the Witchy book, not really. Like, it can just definitely just shut off that part of the brain and be like, yeah, I'll fix it later. Like, I am decently okay at that field. I've done it for a long time, so I feel decently adequate at writing about it, so it doesn't feel the same as writing fiction where it's like overwhelming. So anyways, that is it for this update. I would love to hear how your writing is going in the comments down below or as a video response. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later.